Hey folks, in this lesson I'm going to teach you how to make a decorative coil form. There are 4 basic steps to follow along. You want to start with a base, either making a slab and cutting that into the shape that you want, or making a spiral with your coils. Number 2, we're working one row or one band at a time. Number 3, you want to score and slip every coil together or every band together to the one beneath it. And then number 4, if you're working in decorative bands, you want to blend the back of it before you attach it. If you're adding straight coils to your form, attach those. And then after about 3 to 6 coils, you want to blend the inside so you don't see any of those coils, any of the lines anymore. So the inside should be nice and smooth as if it's a slab. The basic tools that you'll need is a banding wheel, and I like to have a paper towel on the banding wheel so the clay doesn't get stuck to it. Then you'll need a variety of ribs. I like to have a serrated rib so I can score and slip really easily. I like to have a rubber rib or something that's flexible to allow me to blend the inside. You can also use a metal rib or a wooden rib, anything like that that has a flat and straight side. And a cup of water for scoring and slipping. For my base, I'm going to choose to make a spiral out of coils. You can certainly play with the thickness of your coil. For me personally, I like to have my coils about the thickness of my thumb. I find that if I get anything smaller than my pinky, then it just becomes very challenging to work with because the coils are so delicate. Now for the base, I'm going to start on one end and fold over so there's no hole in the center, and then just keep spiraling. Then I'll take my banding wheel with the paper towel on it and place the spiral in the center of the banding wheel and grab a rib and blend one side. So I want to go from the outside in, so I'm dragging the clay from the outside into the center, and then because I'm on the banding wheel, I can simply turn it. I don't have to contort my wrist and my hands to get all the way around. Second step is to roll out the coils. When making the decorative coil, I would recommend putting the first coil as just a straight coil to start it off. Using my serrated rib and a cup of water, I need to score and slip. Every row or every band needs to be scored as well. Holding the coil in 2 hands, one holds it up and the other pinches and compresses that coil onto the base. So scoring and slipping is 3 steps actually: score, slip, and compress. So right now I'm compressing the first coil onto the base. And I'm using this pinching motion, so pinching and pushing down to compress. Where the coil overlaps, I need to cut that at an angle so that they score and slip and blend together really well. I'm gonna actually blend this first one in right now so I don't have to disturb the band afterwards. So with one hand on the outside to hold the wall in, I'm gonna take my other hand or other finger and pull this clay inward. At first it's not gonna look very pretty, but don't worry about that. We're just trying to blend the clay right now. Once you have that blended with your finger, then take a rubber rib, you can even try a metal rib, and blend this all so you don't see any of these finger marks. If you find that your coils are starting to dry out, mist a little bit of water onto your surface and continue to roll. Now that you have your first coil on your base, now it's time to experiment with all these decorative coils. I'll show you a few of some examples that I like to make, but I really want you just to play with making different lines. You'll work on one band at a time, creating your decorative coil on your surface and then attaching it all together. The first one I'm going to show you is what I have right in front of me, of like the wavy lines with the triangles. You start just as you did with making the base, making a spiral, and then you'll cut it into 4. You could also play around with cutting it into different numbers of sections, so like 3 sections or 6 sections, and then you'll alternate the sections one way and then go the other way. Once you have your coils in position, you'll need to blend the back side. And although I'm not using it in this video right now, I would actually recommend using a serrated rib that enables the clay just to form together a little bit easier. One thing I learned from doing this demonstration is actually it's best to score and slip each of those sections, because I found that once I started to curve them into a round band, that they started to crack apart. So as you can see right here, score and slip each of those sections together and then blend the whole backside together as well. And then remember to smooth out the sides so there's no burrs or boogers there. Once you have a long enough band, start to curl it around into that cylinder. And you'll notice that mine starts to fall apart, so I didn't score and slip it very well. So know that that's okay. You'll kind of learn as you go along. Next, score and slip that coil that's already on your pot. And then you'll only need to score and slip the pieces of the band that will touch the original base. So that means for this particular band, I'm only going to score and slip the rounded parts of the triangles. So you know the drill now. Score, slip, compress. We're going to very carefully attach this band to what I have so far on my coil vase, and then really gently compress. I'm also really gently rounding out each of these triangles so the band is actually round and not a series of straight lines. I definitely had some breakage on this band, so that's, again, like, it's not that big of a deal, just score and slip whatever fell off. After each decorative band, I would recommend just doing one straight coil just to keep things even. So when you do that, score and slip where the two pieces will connect. So right here I'm just connecting where the tops of the triangles are, and then my entire long coil. Of course, the pattern I just showed you is just one way to make decorative coils. Think about decorative coil vases as, drawing with your pen. So what sort of lines can you make just by drawing? You can do the same similar drawings, basically, with coils. So here are some things you can try out, but I really want you to play, right? There's no wrong answer. So a couple of things you could do. You could do little spheres by rolling them in your hand. I would recommend either keeping them no thicker than your thumb, remember, we don't want things to still be moist when we go into the kiln, or you can make coils, or you can make round spheres and then cut them in half, and that way they actually stick and stay a little bit easier on your vase. Remember to score and slip everything really, really carefully. Although I want you to experiment with your own lines, here are some examples. You could make a really wavy line. You could cut your coil down into smaller sections and maybe have them all go vertical. Or you could play with the orientation of these small coils, one going vertical, one going horizontal. It is essential that you clean up everything that you've created. The best way that I've found is to take a regular paintbrush, dip it in water, squeeze out a lot of the liquid, and then go over all of your score marks and get rid of all those boogers. Often I'll see students at the end of their project taking a sgraffito tool or a loop tool and going over the lines of the coils to make them show up again. I really would advise you not to do that. It ends up looking more like you've carved in lines as opposed to coiling everything. There's only so much weight plastic clay can hold before it starts to buckle or collapse. So often when making coil vases, you'll make a small section, probably like 6 inches or so, and then let it dry to leather hard before adding on. If you want your clay to dry out slowly, wrap things tightly, meaning having the plastic touch all of the sides of the clay, like here. So there you have it, decorative coil pots. The biggest thing I want you to come away with this is that you should play with lines. Enjoy!